you mean?
A senator.
Why are you talking to me like that?
You are a disgrace to the Senate.
You are an insult to womanhood.
You are
an insult to womanhood. And you are here to tell the world that you have not changed.
You cannot
You are
violate
here to
my
tell the
right.
world that you have not changed.
You are.
At 70, you have not changed.
You are a
And we're
scoundrel.
talking to take it. I will not
You
take
are
it.
a scoundrel.
I will not take it.
To insult.
That is why you can never be here. People like you can never be here. People like you can never be here. How can you be? How can you be a fool?
I'm not a hooligan.
You are a hooligan.
You are a hooligan. So you will be.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
The Senate committee chair.
Chairman of the committee. Chairman of the
And you say I should keep my mouth shut. Who are you to say so?
Chairman.
Who are you to say so?
Chairman.
Who are you?
I asked to be put on.
Okay, officer.
And you refuse.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman of the committee. Chairman of the committee. Hello. Chairman of the committee. Hello. Chairman of the committee. My distinguished colleagues and the petitioner and those who came to defend the petition. I am Senator Dicket Plan. I move a motion that we adjourn this meeting because...
Guys, welcome back to our channel. You see, in my life, I never knew that someone can speak to Eze Ekwe or be Ezekwesili in this manner. I mean, it is so obvious that as a woman, for you to be respected in the top officials where majority of men dwells, it means that you have to go by everything. I mean, every single thing that they decide. If you dare try to go against it, you will become nothing to them. Man, I never know that someone dead or alive can speak to Obi Ezekwesili in this manner. Do you know who this woman is? Upon all her achievement, like this is the woman that co-founded the founding of Fine Chibok girls when they were abducted. She is an owner of a big political school in Abuja. This is a woman that she was a president aspirant. She has come out for presidency in Nigeria. That is how big she is. Yet it did not prevent Senator Nwebonyi to degrade her in such a manner. Why? Just because she is trying to speak up for Senator Natasha. You see the way they are trying all means to cover this Senator Natasha's case up. If you dare try to bring it up, that means you have become their enemy. You have become their greatest enemy, and they will stop at nothing to reducing you, no matter who you are. And this woman has just come out to say that this is not the first time that such thing is happening. In fact, that this is a repeated case, that we Nigerians are just lucky to witness this one because there is camera around. This is very shocking, guys. I mean, everywhere is shaking right now. Could it be that what Senator Natasha has been shouting all this while is true? Anyway, guys, I'm going to allow you to watch this video of Obi Ezekwesili, how she narrated what happened and the reason why this thing keeps happening. Just watch.
Were not complementary. So already he was charged. And so on the basis of that, when I said to him, we're talking, so just, hold your peace.
Yeah.
He fled and then began to release all that he released, showing the kind of level of indecorous personalities that we do have within our public space.
That was quite extraordinary, I have to say. I mean, that the outburst and the kinds of things that were said, I would never in a million years have expected that to have happened, not only in the National Assembly, but certainly not around someone that we all know to be as distinguished a personality as you are. But let me say this.
Charles, before you say that,
sure.
Because it's important that you said what you said. You know what? This is what women go through largely when the camera is not on in some of our public spaces. The culture of silencing the woman who wants to say what has been done to me is not proper, is one that has attained a pattern of behavior. It was that pattern of behavior you saw on display. The only difference is that cameras could pick it up. So I want to use this opportunity to say that this I consider to be one of the distractions that the Senate wants for the purpose of ignoring the persistent call that what Senator Poti Uduaghan needs is fair hearing. Have you not observed how since the matter of this sexual harassment was alleged by her against the Senate president, they have not addressed that matter. They have done every other thing around it, thrown words, thrown statements, done all kinds of things. I want the country, I want the nation, I want the public to please ignore whatever happened at the Senate. We now see an indication of what we should be addressing as part of our systemic change. But I want us to not put our eyes away from a woman, a senator, elected by her own people, who then said that the origin of the problem that we all first saw on the floor of the Senate was actually not about seat allocation. It was that all of that happened as the consequence of having rebuffed the sexual advance that was made toward her. As an important country in the world, what we all must agree is that such a material piece of information in our public space can only be addressed through an independent investigation of the allegation. It has to be addressed through a fair hearing, and if the petitioner who signed on her behalf is saying, I am not guaranteed that fair hearing here today, it shouldn't have been a basis for the Senate to try to use the games of the rules of the Senate, rules of the Senate, which, by the way, they apply inconsistently. The rules of the Senate are subordinate to the Constitution and the laws of the land. Right. So today we saw a repeat of what happened to Senator Natasha Apoti when she dared to use the process of the rules to say, under Order 10, I have to be heard.
Unfortunately, a lot of people, in spite of your call, will focus on what happened today because, I mean, as much as it is shocking, it is to a lot of people some form of perverse entertainment. So they will sort of take it on. But the hope is that in the process of taking it on, it'll draw attention to the point that you were making, which you say is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the way that women are treated. And unfortunately, you didn't actually get the opportunity to do what you came there to do today.
Well, you know, they had a destination and wanted to get there. The most successful thing that we were able to do today is to not allow them railroad the petitioner on behalf of Natasha into a kind of organized process that would lead to them saying, we find what you're saying to not match any standard of evidence.
But I mean, they've adjourned till when?
Well, you have to have been there, because what they said is that they cannot touch the matter any further because it has gone to the courts. Now, what has gone to the courts? What they have done is to make Senator Natasha now a defendant on a case filed by somebody she never mentioned in the course of her allegation against the Senate president. So you can see clearly that what the Senate has basically decided to organizationally do is to silence this woman permanently and to dismiss the issue that is so important for democracy to address in as if it were just an unserious matter, which was why they started off by telling us that we don't do unserious
And do
things.
you think they're likely to succeed in that quest that you allege?
I believe that as much as the Senate has grossly violated the Constitution, almost in a habitual kind of way, by simply not respecting that Senate rules are, the Constitution and the laws of the land are higher order than their internal rules. You know, in the United States, they have Senate rules, but the United States Senate does not consider the Senate rules. The rules are rules to guide the way they do their business. There is no way that rules can become superior to the Constitution and the laws. So what we saw was basically a determination to shut us down by saying you are, in fact they used it, they said exactly that. And it was, it was in a conversation. The person who, there were different degrees of the behavior of the senator, the senator today. There were different degrees of it coming from different senators. There were some other senators that were, very, very professional in the way they responded to our dialogue. But what became very obvious is that the idea that we as a people are so easily swayed by the superior powers of the people that hold the levers of authority in our public institutions.
And people
that needs
who were
to end.
Voted in by the people, ostensibly.
Well, I'm glad you used the word ostensibly, because I would be surprised if we did a proper audit of our electoral process and our elections, whether the number of people who would come out clean as having been voted and therefore holding the legitimacy of the citizens is actually significant, as we would hope. But one person whose legitimacy we are not in doubt at all about? It is Senator Natasha Uduaghan.
Meanwhile, there's a recall petition against her from some of her constituents. Yes. I mean, whether it's orchestrated or whether it is something else, we don't know at this point. But I wonder if you've been in touch with her and what her sort of mind frame is at the moment.
I find that young woman heroic. She simply is the example of what we need our daughters to be in terms of having a very clear mind on seeking for the justice that is due her. She is not a shrinking violet by any description. So Natasha has vowed that she has to fight on until she is heard properly according to the rules of the rule of law. She believes that what has happened is that she's been made victim many times over. Now for us, as reasonable citizens, we don't know the veracity of what she alleges. I have been persistent in saying that. But what we all agree, as reasonable people, is that she made an allegation.
They must be investigated.
They must be independent.
And to be seen to be fair.
In fact, we said, let there be an independent investigation accompanying the session. In fact, what her petitioner asked, a very important part of it, was that they needed to constitute a panel, a committee that would focus on this, because it is an extraordinary situation. They don't have, the committee that would have done this has smeared itself in many ways by taking the public stance of not investigating, yet saying you are lying. What you're saying is not credible, or we don't believe you. Shut up. They swore by the Senate president. How do you do that as a public institution of law? The highest lawmaking organ of our country fails to be compliant with the law in the approach that they have taken.
So how do you think, I mean, she said, as you pointed out there, that she's in it to the end. In other words, she's going to fight to the finish. Beyond that, which people often say in sort of public arena, because obviously they do feel aggrieved enough to take the fight all the way to the end. I mean, do you think this disagreement can be resolved in any other way?
This is not a disagreement. This is a serious allegation.
I understand that.
Yes, and I believe that.
But in other words, if there is some kind of, because I mean, there is an allegation which is at the heart of it, but on top of that allegation, there've now been various disagreements, and if that can be resolved to create a more conducive environment for those allegations to be properly investigated,
I think that's
what I'm.
Yes, I get that. So I think that the first thing is that Nigerians must send a very strong signal to our senators, to our lawmakers in general, that the behavior of the senators, the Senate president, the institution, toward a matter of this kind has completely degraded the way that our country is perceived. And that therefore, we as a people are saying, do the right thing. The right thing, you have to stop punishing a woman who has made an allegation against the leader of the Senate. You must stop that. You must immediately recall her from the unjust suspension and all the punishment, including saying she cannot be around the National Assembly. How do you then call the petitioner, who is a man in her constituency, who based on your rules had to sign for her? He's the only one in that sense that could be speaking to the matter. Then this citizen with constitutional rights, with legal precedences supporting him, says, I don't think I'm going to get fair hearing for my senator here if she is not here with me. But you suspended her on the basis of rules of the Senate. Citizens have to say to the Senate, we are a constitutional democracy. We cannot, the moment we all agree that everything that happens concerning the Senate of our country is on the basis of their rules.
Right.
We know what we're doing. We're setting up our democracy and our country for disaster.
We're almost out of time, but I mean, beyond the Senator Uduaghan thing, which is obviously central in many ways, I mean, given what happened today, this altercation between yourself and the senator, do you feel diminished by it?
Excuse me. Oh my goodness. You're talking to Obi Ezekwesili. You know, the good thing is that God has been amazing in my life. I have such a pedigree that the rest of the world, looking at that which happened in the Senate today, will definitely say they do have a problem with the matter of protecting the rights of women. They have a problem with protecting the rights of their citizens. That Nigeria does have a problem with abuse of power. Because what you heard that senator saying is, he's a senator. He's a senator. My goodness. Charles, there is no way that anything that senator said can be even a speck on the credentials that I have had. The matter of the senators acting with such impropriety, acting with such level of absolute savagery, should be something that our society wholesomely, as a whole, we must condemn.
I agree, and I should say indeed. But let me say that I'm extremely saddened by what happened today.
You don't have to be.
I'm glad that you came in to talk to us about it. Dr. Obi Ezekwesili is a former presidential candidate, former Minister of Education, former Vice President of the World Bank, co-founder of Transparency International, co-founder of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, and currently founder of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance here in Abuja.
May I make a request of you, Charles?
Sure.
Even if any other person in the media looks away from the matter of justice for Senator Natasha Vindicated, you must not do that, because it matters that at pivotal moments like this, we do not think that it is just about Natasha. It is about the structural, systemic issues, the barriers that are raised to keep women shut away from the development of society. Meanwhile, evidence suggests clearly, it's evident, that countries that have paid attention to representation in governance by their women are the ones at the top of the economic league table.
Right.
So any Nigerian that cares about the prosperity of Nigeria must understand that we can't go against evidence. There's no exceptionalism about our country on that. So all of us must insist that this matter will have to get its day properly within the realms of all that our Constitution and our laws require.
Well, speaking as a member of the Arise team, I shall say, let whoever it is do their worst, and we will do our best.
Good.
Thank you very much.
My people, you have heard it. All of this happened because they are trying to cover this Natasha case up. They came for the case to be addressed, and you say that it will never be addressed because Natasha is not there. That Natasha has to be present before the case will be addressed. Meanwhile, the same Natasha was suspended by the Senate, and one of the rules that they gave to her was that she will be nowhere near the Senate house. So how do they want her to be present in her own case where they are banning her from coming near the Senate house? You see, they don't even try to hide or some of these their bias. They make it so obvious that even the most stupid person will know that these people are trying to cover something up. And I'm glad that this thing that happened last night happened to further reveal their intention to the whole world. Now, even the most misogynist person and the most stupid person can see that these people are wrong and that they are trying to cover all the things that Senator Natasha has been saying. And now I am so glad that Senator Natasha now have the voice of this strong woman, Obi Ezekwesili, by her side. And I think that this is the moment by so many women in power should come and side with them, because if this can be done to this type of women that has this kind of positions and have acquired so much, I do not think that no woman at all is exempted. Be you who. Don't think that you are special. No woman at all is exempted. So this is the time that these women come together to fight this cause, because if this is let swept under the feet, trust me, many more will come up. Many more cases like this will come up, and it will not be good, because since they let this one slide, it will give them the energy, the power to know that they can treat any woman in power anyhow, and this will continue to go on. Guys, share me your opinion of this in the comment section. Like and share our video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video.